rights. You have inalienable rights, unalienable rights. Every man, every woman.
Fuck you! Make me! Fuck you! Make me!
And they have their legal society. So if a man or woman that's not part of the legal society, not qualified to use their codifications, their legal codes.
Fuck you! Make me! Fuck you! Make me!
Good morning, savages. Yes. Where the hell am I? I'm here. Where else would I be but here? All right. Oh, fuck. I feel sorry for you cats that watch me. That's okay. Just turn off the screen. Hey. Anyways, yeah. Oh, geez. So, everybody happy with the way the system's running? Everybody happy with the failed institutions? Everybody happy with the New World Order? Yeah, well, you better conform. Get your patented jab. Buy that product now. Oh, you already did buy it. You were forced to pay for it. Just like you're forced to pay for CBC. Just like you're forced to pay for CTV, the Toronto Star, and the rest of those fucks. Hey? Yeah. Yeah, real cool. Real cool. But hey, whatever. There's no accountability to public servants. There's no accountability to civil servants, to the public. There's no accountability to the institutions, to the public. So, I still believe that we have our courts. I still believe. And, you know, a lot of folks are going, the courts are all crooked, the courts are all crooked. Well, a lot of people just don't know, you know, what court they're at, what jurisdiction the court has, you know, whether it's a public venue or a private venue, you know. So, I just don't know what to say except for, you know, guys like Christopher James and Lance. Well, Lance doesn't have the most patience for idiots, and he doesn't have patience for people questioning his authority. But he knows his shit, man. You know, it's as simple as that. And if you can get over the, you know, whatever his abrasive personality, you might learn something. So, a little humility goes a long way with folks. Me personally, I just do what I can do, and I do the best I can with what I have. Of course, the title on this thing is not the correct one because for some reason I have trouble figuring. I don't know what's going on with Streamlabs, but when I do get the time, I will get this straightened out, and I'll see what other multi-platforms there are, and definitely be going over to Rumble. Absolutely, you know. So, yeah, you know, it's just unbelievable how many folks still believe in the system. It's unbelievable how many folks are just brain dead to what's really going on here. All right? This is all the NWO guys. All this stuff is quick, small steps. Right? Quick, small steps. Do. Right? It's like a three-step, like an Irish dance, you know. The Irish jig, that's basically what's going on right now. But I wanted to do something a little different, so let's see what the hell we got here. I know, enlarging my presence on the screen might be offensive to some. That's a warning. But fuck you. Anyways, yeah. Let's see here. Something I wanted to mention too before I get going here is, you guys are always signing petitions and signing, declarations electronically and everything else. Well, any non-living entity can sign electronic shit. And how hard is it for, say, a public servant that thinks they're God now, or some civil servant that's acting as your new king? How easy is it for him just to take that package, this thick, 6 feet tall, and toss it in the garbage? Oh, look at that. Oh, okay, I read it. Garbage. I advocate for everybody writing fucking letters. I've had people hack on me for writing letters. And, to put a document in written form, signed and dated by the man or woman, to make a 3D document that can be backed up and sworn under oath or affirmation at court. That kind of document. And, folks are just too lazy. Like that petition there that Menzies dropped off, and they called the cops on him for trying to drop off a petition to whoever it was, Hamilton, I think it was. And, okay, so you spent all this time, you got all these electronic signatures, yada, yada, yada. Now, how hard is that for somebody just... There you go. Oh, yeah, I read it. There. But if that... What was it? 1,500 signatures? Or 15,000 signatures? Now, if there was 15,000 letters going to that public servant, or civil servant, whichever it was, if there was 15,000, or 1,500 or 150,000, then these people would start to get a little nervous. Don't forget that these people are in their own little circles, okay? And they're all building themselves up within their circles. Just saying. But if nobody does wish to write a letter, and you write it like you are writing to your great aunt, your granny, or your mom. You're polite. You're courteous. Or as Len says, courteous. But you're courting them. You're trying to, is it not your... It might be your wish just to, to spew your puke on paper and yell at them through the pen. But it also might be other people's usage to get a point across. People aren't fucking happy and you're causing harm, loss, and injury to your fellow man here. And I'm sure it's not in any mandate for any institution, organ, society, civil service, public actors of any kind to cause harm to any man, harm, loss, or injury to any man or woman on this land. Now, those poor folks in Australia, they don't have a clue who they are. I know, you're going to yell at me. I can hear you yelling at me right now. Well, they don't. Has any one of them put their thoughts down on paper in written form and sent it to a public servant? Has any one of them ever declared the right or waived the right or benefit to be seen as a legal person within Australia? No. So when they grab you and beat you and kick you in the fucking head, they're not kicking that person that they presume you to be because you already gave them fair warning. And yes, you're going to end up at court no matter what. They're going to take you or you're going to take them. Now our courts are a little scammed here, just in the sense that there is only one jurisdiction, King's Court, that can see man and also see the person, right? Queen's Bench, Superior Court, Supreme Court, depending on what province you're at, territory you're at, right? So it's very expensive. You can't get in as a pauper. I don't know if that's real good. And then if you're not able to carry the day at court, then they can come back on you for a shitload of money. When folks like True North and Rebel, when they take the feds to court, the federal government to court, they're at federal court, and say the court decides, the man in the black robe or the woman in the black robe decides that, hey, you just you're just being an ass, you're wasting everybody's time, limited court resources and limited court time, and so the worst you get there is a $500 kickback, or not kickback, but it's not really a fine, but a charge. Let's just say they charge a person. They charge your account. They charge your corporation, right? It's still unlawful to charge interest on any man. That is the way of our people. That's the customs of the people. That's the common law. So a man does not charge interest on another man. You borrow $20, you pay back the $20. Simple. You do your best to keep your word. Shit does happen. Neither be a lender nor a borrower, but a giver, right? So I remember I lent a guy $20 one time just to get rid of. He's dead now, bless his soul. He's not a bad guy, just a pain in the ass. And but I just didn't tell him that I gave it to him. And I knew when I gave it to him, he accepted it as a loan. But it was a gift. Simple as that. A gift is a gift is a gift. Which part of gift don't you understand? So say you have a church, all right, which is an assembly of folks that become one, right? So not a gathering, right? Because all the pieces are gathered together, and now they appear as one. And that's something else these guys don't realize. When you're being attacked, or when your church is being attacked by these wrongdoers that hold public office in civil offices, right? And so they get you for protesting, they get you for that. But actually, when it was all assembly, and all the members were there to create the one, and therefore you were there as one, not as a bunch of pieces laying on a board. It's like a puzzle. I can gather all the pieces of a puzzle, but when I put it together, it is one. Start thinking outside the box. Actually, start thinking as a man or a woman. So when they're talking about illegal protest, come back with them as, no, this is a lawful assembly. We're here as one. Nobody fucking listens to me anyway. So, look at me. Why would you? Hey? So, anyways. But what I did wish to do today was wow, lots of shit going on, man. Let's go over to my bookmarks. I think I'm still in Twitter jail. Well, I call it Twitter parole. It's like being in a halfway house, right? So, yeah. So this woman comments, I'm not from Australia, but this is coming to every place on earth. She's right. I believe she's correct. Citizens are arrested for no reason in Australia. Well, they don't have to have a reason to arrest a citizen, because a citizen has no rights. A citizen only has duties, responsibilities, and obligations to which they get privileges in return for acting as the citizen that they're told to act. Shit. Okay? Yes, this is New World Order. But a lot of it is because we're dumbed down and don't recognize the fact that God created man and man created government to protect property of man. And that's where we need to start holding these people. And yes, we still do have the courts. I know you don't believe in it, but how many folks have held court? How many people have held court? What if the courts are, what if the courts, what if you got, so you got 1,000 petitioners, 1,500 petitioners, 15,000 petitioners. You got thousands of people on the street protesting, or trying to hold their assembly, or holding an assembly that's being interfered with. Your right to assemble is being interfered with by wrongdoers that have just stepped out of their charter of the office to which they hold. These are where the suits are. Because as soon as a man or a woman who acts period as whichever title that they assume the liability to act within the framework of the charter of that office. And as soon as they step out of that fucking charter, now they are liable just as any man or woman is. I don't know how hard it is for folks to fucking understand that, but let me get back to this, because this one here, I've been watching lots, and this one here is something else. So let's...
Okay, but we have a situation where there's a coronavirus out there, and the survival rate is slightly below 100%, and I'm not willing to accept that the government's willing to shut down businesses, destroy people's lives, and to enforce abusive policy that is carried out by you guys.
We can agree to disagree all day, alright? We're not here to ruin your day, sir. We're just here to ask you to move on. I don't need to. I've
got every right to be here. I was born in Melbourne. This is my city. You've got no right to enforce tyranny.
You're committing an offence under the Chief.
I'm not committing any offence. I'm not committing any. Yeah, you should probably tell me why before you grab me.
You're under
doing this?
You're under
Dogs! Dogs! Tyranny enforcing!
Just hold him.
Huh? You feel proud of yourselves? Huh?
Step back. Stay still, sir.
What's the survival rate of COVID? Answer me that. Where's COVID caused excess mortality? Get to shrunk people's lives for this?
So yeah, that's your future, right? Well, it's not funny, but that's your future. There's your future. I hope you're happy with this. I've told people many, many times that, children is a legal term, not word, but term, and that children do belong to the state. Now that which you author is property. I don't care if you like the word property or don't like the word. Listen, man, what they've done is they've twisted things around to hate the truth and to love lies. It's like eating shit that's no good for you that tastes really, really good because they've used monkey brains to enhance the flavor, like in flavored chips or fetus parts and stuff to enhance the flavor of water, which they are doing. And these same corporations that are doing crap like this are also forcing you to buy a product and do bad drugs. I don't understand. Like, I do get it. I do get it in the fact that a lot of women live in fear, and I do get it I do get the fact that, you know, there's a lot of guys with tits now, you know. Some guy said, well, what chicks, you know, what did he say yesterday? He put up something, you know, what chicks don't you like or would you avoid? And I said chicks with dicks. Now, you can take that as anti-something or this and that. You can take that. But how about these soya boys that grow boobs that have no intestinal fortitude, that wouldn't stand up if their mothers were being beaten by a fucking gangster in the middle of the street? And who's standing up? Who is standing up? You know, riddle me this, riddle me that. You know, simple. Fucking. So, researchers find cure for resting bitch face. If this is my Aussie friend, this was our average fucking what do you call them? They're supposed to be reporters, you know, but aren't anymore. Propagandists that became a politician, and yeah, no, she lived a good life. She's got the golden passport and the golden pension, and yeah, she had to stand down because, you know, people were throwing rotten fruit at her, or rotten vegetables. But you know what? Here's the thing. That's part of our custom. It's our custom to throw rotten vegetables on these common law lands at rotten politicians. You know, that's the custom of our people. You can go back in history. You'll find it over and over and over again. I think the custom of France is to get out the guillotines. So at least we're a little more civil over here. But yeah, you know, learn to put your thoughts, your concerns down on paper in written form. Sign and date it. Now remember, as I've shown people, if you sign something on the left, it's legal. If you sign something in the middle, it's neutral. If you sign something on the right, it's that of man. You know, the schools are ruined. The schools are destroyed. We have some good teachers left, and I'm sure they have a hell of a time being a good teacher, because they're under attack as well from the system. They're under attack as well from the teachers union. You know, don't you think it's about time that, like, say you got a rotten outfit like the teachers union? Isn't it about time that teachers got a different union? I mean, do not the unions work for the teachers? Do not all unions work for those to which they accept the you know, parts of their wages for? You know, seeing that in Australia, I'm sure I got it, but you know, it's crazy. Like, you know, the union attacking their own workers because they're mad because the union's not doing what they're being paid to do. So the unions are living the good life. You know, every time I walk into the Source, now the Source bought out, we had, what was it, for years and years and years, forever, my whole life. We had, I forget the name of it. The Source bought them in Canada. They still got them down in the States. But you could go in and get electronic kits and little crystal radio kits, and you could get diodes and this and that, you know. Almost had the name of it. But anyways, the Source bought it, and the Source is owned by the teachers union. So every time I go in, I always ask the folks there, well, you unionized yet? How come you don't have a union? How come the teachers union owns a business that is not unionized? I think they own a big mattress factory as well. That's also not unionized. Imagine that, eh? So the union doesn't want to pay for folks to be unionized. They scam everybody. Look, we've all been scammed, and they're taking 70% of your coin. Interest going through the roof. Farmers are culling their herds because they have no feed. We're in big trouble. We're in big trouble. Now, this won't stop, you know, folks like this won't stop folks like this thing Trudeau, Toole, all the wonderful people that you have elected to be your lords and kings and tyrants and rulers. This won't stop them from having their steak dinners, their filet mignon, their, $1,000 bottle of whiskey, their free jet rides all over the place. This one was weird. Check this out.
I get a message this morning.
Not this one. This one's actually really good. So check this out.
From a friend alerting me to a new poll. The poll comes from Czech News, czechnews.ca, at Czech News on IG. Asks a simple question. Canadians, do you want a vax passport or not? So I check it out. Check back a couple hours later, it's gone up 0.5%, but what's missing? Where is the voter count? Clearly it's been removed. I'm no math whiz, but how does this happen 4 hours later? So being the curious guy I am, I decided to look up their phone number and give them a call. First girl I called wouldn't give her name. Brushed me off. I told her she should be ashamed of herself. Called her fake news and asked her how she sleeps at night. I guess word got around, some other people might have found out, and they came up with a new story. I recorded the next conversation with the next gentleman, and he informed me that they had been hacked. A local news station got hacked. This is how you know the news is lying to you.
There you have it, folks.
I get a message this morning.
I guess this guy's a bigot. Oh, I guess, this guy's a wrongdoer. Oh, I guess this guy don't count because, he's just a peon, right? Yeah, exactly. No. People can investigate the truth. We don't need your bullshit credentials to be smart enough to investigate the truth. I mean, I watched in the first year, the scientists, the group of scientists. These are the guys that look for meds that will work for novel viruses and disease, existing meds that are safe, and then they try them out. There was a peer-reviewed paper within the first year, and then there was a peer-reviewed paper done again. So they did it again. They even went to Congress under oath and told Congress about it, and everybody ignored them. They've just been ignored, And these are the real scientists, not CTV News, not CBC News, not BBC News, not CNN. Those aren't real scientists. And everybody that's pushing this on you, I believe, is a paid-for shill. Now, I believe that a man's right to believe has not been outlawed yet. Now, a citizen or a person within the corporate body politic, the corporation within Canada, right? It may be outlawed for that person to believe anything. And I noticed too, in the laws, in some of the bad laws they've been writing, if an officer believes. Well, if the law is written in such a way that an officer believes, then they must be either a man or a woman. Otherwise, they can't believe shit. Right? So this is where there's a lot of trickery going on, legal trickery. Okay, these guys have been really ramping up for 100 years. And this is where you comes in. This is where you come in, right? Because you is always plural. So they're always, and I'm always here in person. But you just didn't ask which person, right? So, am I a person defined under the Interpretation Act of Canada? Well, you didn't ask me that. You just presumed me to be something, and then kicked the shit out of me and hauled me off in chains. Threw me in a cage. Now, these poor folks in Australia, they have no clue. Like, for the most part, from what I see, they have no clue. And all the cops see is a disgruntled, low-level employee under their ranks. And they're allowed to... They didn't cause any harm or loss to any woman, any man, They just beat the shit out of one of their persons. That's all. You know, for their benefit. It's always for their benefit. You know, the government does everything to the benefit of the person. And if, you know, beating the shit out of them, dragging them, kicking them in the head, shackling them, throwing them in cages will benefit them, then it'll benefit them. But no man or woman was caused harm. No. And that's the way they all look at it. And most of you folks don't even know that you are the man or woman that God created, that the universe created, that the one created. No, you just all think that your shit comes from a two-dimensional piece of paper, and that's where your rights were derived. And if any of the shit was worth the paper it was written on, there would be rule of law within the political system. There would be rule of law within the corporate body politic. And all they're doing is breaking laws, left, right, and center. You know, pretty fucking simple. But I like this guy. Kudos to him. Oh, here's... Now, you savages, there's a beer shortage soon. Panic buy here. Where's that pub? Don't believe the liberal media. CBC, CTVs, City, Global, and that's just to name a few. You know. Here we go. This is Vauxhall Bridge in London, and it's been taken over by freedom protesters. Now, I would say it is being used by an assembly of mankind, myself, right? So I'm just going to take the time out for a whiz. Too much coffee this morning. I'll be right back. Actually, I should give you something better to look at. Something more fun. There, that looks like more fun. Yeah.
To use their codifications, their legal codes. Fuck you! Make me! Fuck you! Make me!
I left that on, did I?
You know, unabridgable rights. You have inalienable rights.
Inalienable rights, fundamental rights, natural rights, right? But this, I mean, so what? Is everybody just going to call these guys bad names? These are the people that are to be served. You know, and so, okay, so you got, look at how many folks are there. And so, you know, Danny Andrews, his big thing is just, well, send out the military. And, oh, they're not sending out the military now? Oh, yeah, really? They're not, are they? Interesting. Because that's not what I see. You know. Where's the military? Where'd that go? Oh, check this out. No military, eh?
Oh my god! 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 Get back, please. Hey, Brad. just like they come over it. Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
So now you can see how violent this guy is and why the military had to jump out of that van and attack this man, because oh geez, you know, he had weapons of mass destruction. He was pounding and ripping their mirrors off and kicking their doors, hey, on their bulletproof SUV. You know, well, if they're as good as the Taliban, I mean, Biden sure set up Taliban with a bunch of bulletproof Toyota trucks. Never mind the labs, you know. So, yep. So they went from cops beating up people to finding out that the people will fight back. So they brought out riot squads with guns and rubber bullets, and these things are huge, man. These rubber bullets aren't little, you know. They're not small. They don't have quite the charge behind them that, you know, other projectiles have, but they have enough to fucking hurt you quite good. And now the military's coming out, so we're going to watch this escalate. Just wait. Just wait. You know, I love this too. This is fucking awesome. Patio open. Since this is Alberta and not Nazi Germany, we will not ask you papers, please. So, and I remember, like I wasn't around back then, but it was the whole war, the Nazi thing. Everything was quite fresh when I was a young man and a kid, and they didn't say papers, please. Okay, they said papers. Simple as that. And then if you didn't give your papers, then you were beat up just like the other guy. Okay, this is willing to listen. I love this one. Yeah. Of course, this is an insult to Biden, of course. But yeah. And the military over there that's being systematically destroyed. Ours is also. Biden's really getting hysterical, making threats to the good folks south of the border. He's making of our border. He's making threats to all those who join the military for whatever reason they did, and if they don't do as they're told, he's going to bring the hammer down. Sounds like extortion by way of threat. Yeah. Does anybody? I don't hear any, like, you know, besides Carl, I'm the only one I know that talks about, you know, that can see extortion by way of threat. I don't get it, you know. Here's a good one. The herd immunity theory was originally coined in 1933 by a researcher called Hedrick. He had been studying measles patterns in the U.S. between 1900 and 1931, years before any jab was ever invented for the disease. He observed that the epidemics of the illness only occurred when less than 68% of the little ones developed a natural to it, and this was based upon the principle that the children build their own after suffering with or being exposed to the disease. So the herd immunity theory was in fact about natural disease process and nothing to do with a jab. If 68% of the population were allowed to build their own natural defenses, there would be no raging epidemic. Later on, vaccinologists adopted the phrase and increased the figure from 68 to 95% with no significant justification as to why, and then stated that there had to be 95%, blah, 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 coverage to achieve immunity. Essentially, they took Hedrick's study and manipulated it to promote. See, these guys, look, these are corporations, okay? That's what fascism is. Then when the government works with corporations to force people to buy a product, that's fascism. Simple as that. And right now, you're just being extorted and coerced into buying a product that doesn't work. a product that destroys lives. You know, I like the new Australian flag. What do you think of that? That's pretty good. Oops, I like that. Yeah, that pretty much says it all, doesn't it? Well, here's your future, Canada.
We pursue these things in our own country, in our own society, and how we raise our own children. Australia was one of 8 countries only involved in the drafting of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and we continue to strengthen the international human rights system. And we will continue to raise our voice on important issues like the rights of women and girls, the rights of Indigenous peoples, because respecting the rights and freedoms of the individual is intrinsically important. It is fundamental to our values as a people and as a nation. It lifts all societies and nations too, delivering better outcomes through economic inclusion.
So if you get vaccinated, there will be special rules that apply to you.
Women's empowerment, environmental sustainability, rising living standards and so much more. Australians' actions are guided by our belief in the inherent dignity of all people, everywhere, no matter the circumstances. Mr. President, we learned through the pandemic that every moment of challenge requires us to think anew, to engage with each other, to learn as you go. It is an experience understood by many others. And so we will continue to meet this moment with dialogue. Thank you, Mr. President.
Did it again, didn't I? Okay, well, fuck this show then. I'm done. This is fucking stupid. I did it again. Can't believe it. Oh well. Okay, I'm gonna dump this. Cheers.